G'day YouTube. Warbles on a lot here. With a minor treatise on quantum string theory. For brush cutters. Quantum meaning small change. Small change in question being a couple of months ago when transitioning from a single string to a double string bobbin on the brush cutter. This is representative of used strings on a single string bobbin, which used to run at something like 45 minutes for 850 mils. 45 minutes 720, 45 minutes 700, 30 minutes 500, 30 minutes 500 mils, 16.6 mils per hour. Unusual not to break strings or half strings, rather than wearing them down more or less evenly. So 16 mils of petrol per minute of cutting, and you're going to break a lot of strings and have to throw them away because it's actually a pain in the ass to try and cut with a one-stringed brush cutter. So that's kind of like the baseline. Put a new two-string bobbin on, which has 4 ends to whack the weeds with, and a lot of vibration. Took me a while to figure out that I needed to be very painstaking while centering the bobbin. So from 155 hours to 171 hours. 15 hours. And these are the strings which have been used. Fair number. So I was pretty good at the twin string bobbin technique when it occurred to me that me 3-pound reel of 3mm kind of going to show there, not really very well. Extra sunlight. How's that? I think we should measure this. It says it's 3mm, but in which dimension, one wonders? Well, looks like it's 3mm wide to me. And allowing that the end has probably been compressed by the cutters, we put it on its side, it's 3mm. So this is square section 3mm by 3mm, which is only kind of important, relevant and germane because this stuff, with its sort of star-shaped profile, laminated and twisted from 3 different colours of plastic with grey on the bottom, black in the middle and orange on the top, it claims to be 3mm as well. And behold, the diagonal edges of the corners are in fact 3mm on what you can call flat side to flat side if you can find one. However, due to this cunning 4-armed starfish profile that they've adopted, they contrive to use less plastic. They get a sharper edge, and apparently the string is tougher because, once again by the glories of having the logbook, we compare the cutting performance and the fuel efficiency of the old square section 3mm strings against the Stihl strings. And whereas we had 16.6 millilitres of two-stroke fuel per minute of cutting, and wore them right down to the very edge that they could possibly cut, 53 minutes for 750 mils, and with two strings instead of one string in the bobbin, went from 16.6 mils per hour to 14.1. Okay, so we switched to the Stihl strings, and here we see the first pair of Stihls to come off. 25 minutes, 300 mils, yeah, well, 12 mils per minute. Down from 14, as much as 14 was down from the 16. Okay, next string, 40 minutes, 575 mils per mils of petrol, which is 14.375 mils per minute. So yeah, that pair used as much fuel as that pair did. But guess who was getting a bit better at these new fancy Stihl strings? As you can see, we've got a split end there. This is worn down to quite thin edges. 90 minutes, hour and a half for 900 mils, 10 mils per hour. Whoops, that was on the 29th. Second string on the 24th, 8.3 mils per minute. 1 hour of cutting. Yeah, we wore them down fairly thin. 8.3 mils per minute. 10 mils per minute. I've written that down as hour, it should be minute. So, from what I can see, these Stihl strings, they have a lower aerodynamic drag and they're lighter. This pair of strings has done 37 minutes, and I don't know how much fuel they used during 37 minutes, but they're worn down to quite a tapered tip profile. I don't know whether I'll get another half an hour out of them, but I might. So I guess the next step is to put fuel in the brush cutter and see how much it took to wear away 30% of a pair of strings in 37 minutes. This is the fruit of the vibration of the off-centered bobbin. Bear in mind, the fuel reading's not going to be 100% accurate, because there's the wet spot on the ground under the tank from when I had the whole unit cocked up in the sky in order to video the strings coming out of the bobbin head earlier in this same video. But you know, while we've got it up here, more repairs to the vibration damage. Quite strange where it concentrated itself at opposite ends of the powertrain. 250, 500, 75 mils of which did not fit. As you can see, the meniscus poking up, meaning 425 mils for 37 minutes. equals 11.48 mils per minute. So, as I see it, these Stihl strings, they're going to use 26% less fuel, and they're going to cut for 40% more time. 40% more time, 20%, 26% less fuel. So, I think $79 for the big roll, which I think was about 80 metres. So yeah, slightly less than 4 times the money, because I think I paid $23 for this. But it's worth it, particularly from the point of view of the fuel burn. You burn less fuel because the strings are more aerodynamic, so they have less drag. They also are lighter because the starfish profile, whatever you want to call it. Right, off we go. And one has to take time out to clear snarls. As you can see, this is not light duty. And they're doing well. Maybe 10 minutes of that has been spent clearing jams, because this long, thin, spinifexy sort of grass, it's got really strong fibres and they're thin, so they get in and they twine up and they make lovely string. Strings are getting a bit short. swap. definitely worth proceeding with, because you've got to use such high revs per minute to get a spring speed sufficient to cut. If you're burning a lot of fuel and you've got such a tiny, weeny little disc, it's not worth doing. Not worth doing at all. Okay. All right. 47 minutes, of which probably 15 would have been spent clearing jammed, grassed up bobbin locks. And you get that in the second half of the string's usability. When the strings are full size, the edge of the cutting disc is sufficiently far removed from the axle and the obstacles in there that you get very few bobbin locks. When you got little short strings, it's really hard to keep the cut grass out of the inevitable gaps that are down there at this stage of the machine's life. So yeah, call that 30 minutes cutting today on top of 37 minutes previously, so we're talking an hour and 7 minutes for that pair of strings. Pretty rare that I ever used to get half an hour out of one single string when I had the old single string bobbin. So, and at least I succeeded in not accidentally chopping the wombat berry vine. I didn't even cut its advancing tendril, which has been getting eaten by various animals. I don't recall seeing any wild native parsnip in this little segment that I cut today on this video. Possibly because these little patches here are ones that I have previously seeded in years gone by. Anyway, warbles on a lot to YouTube. There you go. Quantum string theory for brush cutters. Is still the best? Yeah, I think so. I think so. You get 40% more cutting time, sometimes more, on a per string basis, and you use 26% less fuel while cutting. That's got to be a good thing, surely. Anyway, warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.